I am Jim's son, Doug, and I had the pleasure of his undivided attention for 18 months till my sister Tracy arrived. My dad was a great man, and like all great men, he deserves a world class speechwriter. Unfortunately, we were unable to get Deborah Buckhalter, so you're stuck with me, buddy. It's easy in times like this to look at the negative, like the fact that some of us have lost the best dad ever, or the best husband, brother, beer buddy, friend, and regardless of what they say about Sully Sullenberg, the world has lost the best pilot. But Dad wasn't like that. He was always positive. He certainly wouldn't want us to be crying. He would say that he was in a better place and that we should be happy for him. And certainly he wouldn't want us standing around saying how great he was. So I want to take a little time and talk about how great he was. But honestly, if I start talking about how selfless he was and how he never complained even while fighting cancer, I'll never get through this. So I'll tell a story instead that shows how patient, loving, smart, and what a great father he was. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I had a plastic tractor that I would sit on and ride all the time, and I loved that tractor. It was orange and black, and the front of it was a hollow rectangle with a tiny little hole in the middle. Dad had bought some tiny paintbrushes, like an artist would use, for a project that he was working on. The tractor had a tiny hole in the top, and I managed to put every paintbrush inside that tractor. My dad eventually figured out where the paintbrushes ended up. Thanks a lot, Tracy. And shaking the tractor, he could hear the paintbrushes rattling around. He was upset and asked a question I knew was coming, but never had the answer for. He asked, "What did you do that for?" I went with my stock answer and said, "I don't know." He was mad and started to raise his hand to spank me, but he stopped. An eternity went by and he said, "Stay here." And he went to the garage. I was terrified when he emerged with a hacksaw. Even when disciplining, he had a great sense of humor and said, "Give me your hands." I thought, oh my gosh, he's finally going to do it and cut off my hands. It took some time and coercion, but eventually I held out my hands and he said, "Now hold this tractor still." And he proceeded to cut the tractor open so he could get the paintbrushes. He dumped out all the brushes and told me never to touch his paintbrushes again. I am sure he was smiling all the way to the back to the garage and probably thinking, "Man, I fixed his tractor." Being a dad is a pretty thankless job, and a military dad has to be one of the toughest jobs around. But it was one he did best, and he always made life fun. That's how I choose to remember him. He was always being funny, enjoying life, and making our lives happy. So when you find yourself thinking of him, starting to get sad, just picture his smiling face saying something like, "Two cannibals find a clown and eat it. One cannibal says to the other, 'Sure tastes funny.' And finally, as a testament to his eternal patience, go Titans."
I keep a watch on time when I've got work to do, but I let time go lightly with you. Morning, a time for breaking ground and sowing seed, and yet we give up our sunshine so we can buy what we need. And that leaves the evening to share a fire with a friend or two, to lose sight of the hours, to go lightly with you. I let time go lightly when I'm here with you. I let time go lightly when the day is through. I keep a watch on time when I've got work to do. But I let time go lightly with you. Old friends, they mean much more to me than a new friend, 'cause they can see where you are, and they know where you've been. Music has been my oldest friend, my fiercest foe, 'cause it can take me so high. Yes, it can make me so low. When I was a child, my mother would help me along. She'd rock me to sleep and sing me a song. So I learned to love the music of all the tunes in my mind, the changing of chords, the rhythm of time. I let time go lightly when I'm here with you. I let time go lightly when the day is through. I keep a watch on time when I've got work to do. But I let time go lightly with you. Yes, I let time go lightly with you, and a fire and a friend or two. With you and a fire and a friend or two. A friend or two. And you.
Shelter of the Lord, who abide in his shadow for life. Say to the Lord, my refuge, my rock in whom I trust, and he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. You need not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day. Under his wings your refuge, his faithfulness your shield. For to his angels he's given a command to guard you in all of your ways. Upon their lest you dash your foot against a stone. And he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand. Bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you, and hold you, and hold you in the palm of his hand.